Hi, Mike Matchett with Small World Big Data, and we are here talking today about backup and recovery and data protection, mostly through an MSP perspective, because an awful lot of you out there are using MSPs, but you might not be aware of all the subtleties when you hand that responsibility off. And I've got Matt Scully here. Welcome, Matt.
Welcome. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time here.
All right, Matt, tell us a little bit about RedStor in a thumbnail, just to set the stage. RedStor being a UK, or what we might call a British company, but tell us about RedStor.
Okay, yeah, so you are correct. RedStor did start off in Reading, the UK. It is a backup and data protection company, okay? And matter of fact, if you were to go into the G2 ratings, you would see that we are the highest rated software in Europe as well as in South Africa. 2020, we wanted to bring our talents, as LeBron would say, to the States. And unfortunately, there was a little thing called the pandemic, which prevented us from doing so. So 2022 is our year. And with the hiring of myself, as well as some other Datto veterans, as well as some RedStor veterans that are going to actually making their way over to the States, we're ready to go.
All right, so you're coming to invade us again.
Yeah. We tried in 1776, 1812.
At least you're bringing some great services here to help us back up things. All right, so RedStor itself, as a data backup and protection solution, just give us a kind of a box picture of that. What's the elevator pitch for Red App?
Red App. Okay, so Red App is our user interface that where you can take all of your backup efforts, whether it's on-prem, whether it's cloud, whether it's SaaS, and you can actually see it in one single interface. Okay, now I can tell you from being in this industry for a while that there's a lot of companies that say that they could do that, but with Red App, you actually can do that. Okay, so you as an MSP don't have to log into your SaaS applications backup or log into another interface for your on-prem. Everything is done in one single app.
All right, so single sign-on, single pane of glass, really bringing it up there on there, which is pretty cool. Let's talk about what comes next there. What differentiates? I mean, there's a lot of different backup apps that MSPs can choose from. What differentiates RedStor from some of the other solutions that are out there? Okay,
yeah. So I would even take that question and say, why should you go with RedStor as opposed to other solutions that are out there? And I answer that in threes, right? The first and foremost is the technology. Is the technology there? Okay, we have, obviously, I alluded to the G2 ratings there. The top technology is there. It's successful. It's highly rated. And it's obviously recommended by a lot of MSPs across the world. Okay, that's one. Two, can you make money on it? Okay, we have a very unique billing situation where MSPs can make a lot of money. Matter of fact, since my time of coming here, which has been a little bit over a month, we saw an average of 44% of what MSPs can save by working through RedStor. And I can explain on how is that later on if you'd like. And number three is the people, people that you've worked with in the past, people that they trust your opinion. You're not just trying to get a sale from them. When people go and they vet the solution and they want to be a part of it and they want to represent it, it does make a difference.
All right, so yeah, we do want to talk a little bit more about the cost because it always comes down to that.
Sure.
But first, there's this kind of changing part of the world too. So it kind of affects all three of those things, which we're looking at the industry shifting a bit at this point in time, and I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that it's because of the pandemic. We're all working globally, more distributed, and we're all more insecure. And there's this problem with security that we're all facing. Can you tell us a little bit about how RedStor views that shifting landscape?
Okay, yeah, it's a great question. Okay, yes, when in March of 2020, the world did shift, but what was interesting about what we saw through the channel, whether it was an MSP or whether it's a solution provider, we pivoted. And we pivoted very strongly, okay? And, we created this work from anywhere model. And, obviously coming with that is making sure people are working in secure locations, all that entire stuff, okay? But there were some people that didn't pivot. There's some people that lost their business. I know that hospitality was one segment that kind of went down on that K curve. And what happened is that you saw a lot of MSPs stuck into these contracts, these commits, 1, 2, 3 year commits with these solution providers. And because of that, they weren't protected. So with us is that we don't have commits. Okay. In other words, we bill you every single 30 days. And there's no contracts, meaning in the sense that, you're not stuck to a 1, 3, 5 year contract on there.
You can be very responsive to your cash flow with what your customers are actually doing.
I think that what the word I would probably use would be recession proof, right?
Okay.
That would be definitely a word that I would use for that.
All right, and so that also ties back into, I guess we're still talking about the money. Then we're talking about the cost saving. Tell me a little bit more about when an MSP is helping their customers save money. What is that? What are they doing?
Well, there's a couple different things with that. Is saving them money is one thing, but it's not the most effective thing, right? In a weird way, you can find a backup solution at Office Depot or Staples, and that could be saving them money, but you're not fully protecting them.
So total cost of ownership.
Yeah, you need if you're going to protect your clients, you're going to have to live in the channel. I mean, that to fully protect your clients, you have to be in the channel. So it does go more than just saving them money. And I think that needs to be communicated through QBRs, I think is a very important thing. Because a lot of times what happens is that, the end user wakes up, their technology works, and they go on to their day. And next thing you know, the MSP's coming to them and saying, okay, let's sign up for another year. And the end user's like, I don't need you. I'm okay. Everything's working. And so it's because the MSP did not report on the work that they have done. And that's where we can help you at RedStor. We can show you exactly the work that we're doing, how we're protecting you, and so forth.
Yeah, it's probably good for end users, especially people who are buying MSP services, to know not only what they're buying, but to know the return they're getting on that investment that they're making, and just keep on top of it, because you don't want it to be a blind item like buying a mattress, right? It's a little bit more to it than that. This is your IT infrastructure and your IT service.
But Mike, I have a question for you. Is a blind item taking a vitamin?
Yeah, it could be, because we don't know what the vitamins are doing.
We don't know what the vitamins are doing.
Yeah.
But if we wake up without a cough, so it's a good day.
Yeah, I do eat an apple a day anyway, but still. And I do back up my machines, only I do know the ROI of that, having been a storage analyst for a long time.
Sure.
Okay, let's just shift back to the technology then, which is with RedStor and what you guys are doing up there. You've incorporated some AI and some machine learning. Popular thing to do today. What does that do for people who use RedStor? What does it mean when you say use AI?
Okay, so we leverage AI, okay, as far as on our backup. So our AI would go and it would scan a backup, and if there is something wrong, it identifies it, and we put the backup into a quarantine so it doesn't affect any other backups or any other systems in the future. It's a very, very, very sophisticated way of handling backups. Because what happens is that there are people that get hit with ransomware, and they don't know about it until 90 days later. So if something looks funny, something looks off, it goes into a quarantine, it's explored, and then we move on to the way.
Yeah, we've heard detection delays as long as 6 months or even beyond that. If you don't have a smart way to detect and identify the attacks up front and start to do something about it before they get everything. Because once they got everything, they got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so another part of I always like to ask about backup solutions. It's great to do backups, but that's not when I really need it. I need it when I need to recover. Am I talking, like, did you put all this data in some storage that it's tape offline and it's going to take me 2 weeks to get back?
No. We have this thing, it's called instant data. Okay. Instant data, it is 42 seconds. Like for the first 2 weeks of my job, I had been on these demos, right? And so it was the instant data where I'm on these demos and I'm looking at, one of our salespeople, providing the demo to an MSP. And once they see how quickly they have access to their data, it's 42 seconds. The face, I always watch the face of the MSP who's completely surprised on this. And that's sort of been my job right now, is to I'm looking for ways to get the RedStor name out there. And I came to the early discovery that if we just put the technology into the MSP's hands, the solution's going to sell itself. It will sell itself.
Right, because people really should be protected here. Tell me, so, I mean, obviously that's your recommendation there. Tell me a little bit about what you personally are doing now at RedStor to help create this awareness and to promote good backup hygiene, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. So, when I was approached by RedStor, I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes method of madness. I have about 5 MSPs who I speak with monthly. Okay. From my former position. And, when I'm speaking with a new, prospective new employer, I had them do a deep dive onto RedStor. And it was unanimous from these guys, because I'm not as technical as you think I am. But in other words, I allowed them to vet the technology of it, and all 5 of them were just like, wow, we need to get our hands on this. So having that confidence to go out there, to go on to webinars, podcasts, getting on stage, conversations with old partners of mine that we've worked with, it's great. There's nothing worse than being in a booth when the technology sucks. There's nothing worse. And so so when you're in a booth, and I've been in I think it's only been 2 booths so far with RedStor, the ability to know that you're providing a very sophisticated and strong tool is great. So my job is to get out there as loud as I can and tell people about this technology.
All right. And if someone wants to know more, because now we're sort of running out of our time here, about RedStor, about Red App, about data protection and backup, about AI used in backup, what would you point them on?
Well, you can obviously take a look at our website, which is redstor.com. And there's always a place to sign up for a demo right there. Email me as well. It's matt.scully, SCULLY @redstor.com.
All right. And don't disabuse that, guys. Don't abuse that.
Yeah.
Email them with good questions if you got them. Thank you so much for being here, Matt. I look forward to hearing more about RedStor as you come here and take over North America and the world beyond. Thank you.
I appreciate you, Mike. Thanks for your time.
All right. Take care, guys, and check it out.